Hey credit warriors, welcome to the show. And if you follow my Instagram stories, you will see that I have just paid my taxes using a credit card. I used my American Express Gold card to pay $13,797 worth of taxes. Phew, it broke my heart to see that leaving my account. Also, by the way, if you don't follow me on Instagram, why not? You can check it out at The Credit Shifu. I post there almost daily. So anyway, I paid my taxes through the service Plastiq using my credit card, okay? And Plastiq enables you to pay for things that you'd normally only be able to pay by check or direct bank transfer. So things like taxes, it could be rent, it could be mortgage, it could be, utilities, those sorts of things, okay? And this video is going to be a little bit of a tutorial about Plastiq. Now, we have done a video about Plastiq before, but this video is going to go in a little bit more detail on which credit cards you can use for what types of purchases. And this is because Plastiq has just sent me an updated table of what types of credit cards you can use for what payments, whether it's rent, mortgage, all those kind of things. So we're going to go through this table together. But first of all, there are a few considerations when thinking about what card to use before you even get to the stage of, looking at what you're able to, what card you're able to use to pay which type of bill for. So first of all, you would want to make sure that the card's credit limit is high enough to cover the payment you want to make. So it's no good paying a $13,000 tax bill on a card that only has a $10,000 limit, okay? Because it's only going to either be rejected or you're going to get an, over the credit limit fee or whatever, right? So that's not good. In the case of charge cards, because charge cards have no preset spending limit, you're going to want to check the spending power if it's a big purchase to make sure it's covered. So on my Amex Gold card, I just clicked check spending power here, and I checked, and it was, I entered $15,000, and Amex said that a $15,000 purchase would indeed be covered on my card. So that more than paid for the $13,797 purchase that I made to pay my taxes through Plastiq. Secondly, you want to make sure that the rewards you're earning on the card will cover the 2.5% fee that Plastiq charges. So either you're doing this spending because you're going to get a sign-up bonus on the card, which would massively outweigh the fee, or your card's rewards actually are a little bit more than 2.5%, okay? Now, some cards, for example, particularly, I think a good example to give is Discover cards, like the Discover It business card, 1.5% cashback on all purchases, and in the first year, it has the cashback match, so it actually earns 3% in the first year. So, if you do the math, $10,000 purchase through Plastiq, for example, you would get charged $250, that's 2.5%, but you would earn 3%, which is $300. So you would actually make $50. So even though $50 doesn't sound that much, it is kind of worth it to do it because you're doing it online anyway, so you can enter the details online. You don't actually have to write a check yourself. So I think seeing as it's actually less hassle to do it through Plastiq rather than writing a check, going to the post office, sending it, you might as well, and you earn $50 in the process. But the real big winner is if you are working towards a sign-up bonus, or Plastiq sometimes reduces the fee for certain promotions. Sometimes they bring it down to 1%. And in addition to that, the third point is that if you have collected what they call fee-free dollars by doing referrals, you can get free, free transactions. And they do fee-free dollars in batches of 1,000. So normally if you refer one person using a link, you get 1,000 fee-free dollars. It's easier for some than others, like for me, because I've got an online following, I was able to accumulate 35,000 fee-free dollars. I guess I got 35 people to sign up. And so my tax payment was completely free, all right? So for the average person, perhaps they'd only be able to recruit their family members, a few Facebook friends or whatever, and earn a few thousand free dollars. But if you're paying $5,000, you may be able to accumulate that much for free. All right, so let's now start going through the table of which cards you can use for what kind of payment. First of all, we'll talk about the 4 categories of cards. We have Amex cards, which is split between US and Canada. For some of them, it's Canada cards only, etc. The next category is Discover, Diners Club, and JCB, which are one category together. Then we have MasterCard, and then we have Visa. And some of those are split up into debit and credit cards, etc. All right, so let's go through the table. So first up, we have car leases and purchases. And for that, it's everything except for American Express cards, okay? So any Visa, MasterCard, etc. Next, we have business services, which would include some building services, creative, security, technology services. There's actually a lot of things listed here. You can pause the video if you want to read through it totally. But for these, it's generally all cards except for American Express, although Canadian American Express cards are okay for a lot of these purchases. I assume that's if you're based in Canada and you're paying a merchant that's in Canada, though. Next up, we have clubs, including country clubs, golf clubs, gentlemen's clubs, I don't know. So, basically club memberships, actually all cards are usable. So you could use your Amex Centurion to pay your $400,000 Mar-a-Lago membership fee through Plastiq, and you could earn quite a lot of points. You'd pay a massive fee though. All right, next. Personal loans and debt collection agencies. Now on this one, the only cards you can use are actually debit cards, which kind of defeats the object of using the service anyway, because it's all about, hitting minimum spend to get rewards or whatever. And I think the reason behind that probably is that, you don't want to be paying off debts by accumulating more debt. So it's kind of a responsible thing. I don't know why they've said they can't pay it, but I'm assuming it's because it'd just be an irresponsible thing to do. Next, we have school tuition and daycare costs, etc. And you can actually use all cards for this. So for me, personally, I have a massive $1,500 bill every month for baby credit shifu. Well, actually, not so much baby anymore. Toddler credit shifu's daycare costs. It's very, very expensive. You can actually use a credit card to pay it directly with the school, but they charge a 3% fee. I did it last month because we were getting the upgrade bonus on the Hilton Ascend card from Mrs. Credit Shifu, but this month, I'll probably just write them a check because we're not working towards any bonus, so I couldn't really upgrade the fee unless I use some of my fee-free dollars in my account. I guess I could do that, but I'm probably saving that for more larger payments in the future. So yeah, childcare services, school tuition is actually all cards. Right, next. Next is student loans. And with student loans, it's no Amex and no Visa credits. So for credit cards, you could use MasterCard and Discover, etc. And you can also use Visa debit cards, which kind of defeats the object of doing it. So basically that's that. Student loans, it's a bit more limited. Next, we have insurance, including health insurance, life insurance, etc. And this is just, again, no Amex. All the other cards are okay. Next, we have labor, including W-2 and 1099. If you don't know, W-2 is full-time employees, 1099 is contractors. And this again is just no Amex. But with labor, I don't really see the point of it because most, companies, small companies, they outsource their payroll using a service such as Intuit QuickBooks payroll service. That's what we do to pay our employees. And they do it all for you. The cash comes out of your account, gets paid by them directly into your employee's account. So there's no real opportunity to use a credit card. So with labor, I don't think it's really that many companies going to take advantage of that. Now we have donations to non-profit organizations and charities, etc. A great way to get a deduction on your taxes if you are a high earner and you're itemizing. If you're using standard deduction, you can't deduct charitable donations anymore. But anyway, this is just all cards except for Amex. Child support, I don't really know much about that, but it's no Amex. All other cards are okay if you are paying child support. And next we have cryptocurrency. And yeah, for good reason. Basically, Plastiq doesn't support any cryptocurrency purchases, so no cards that you can use to pay cryptocurrency exchanges or whatever. And I think there's very good reason for that. Okay, so now we're getting into housing costs, which is, I think, a category that a lot of people will be interested in because particularly mortgages has had some changes over the last couple of years. And this is a expense that everyone has every month, okay, whether it's rent or mortgage or whatever. So first of all, we have residential rent and condo or HOA fees, and actually all cards are okay for that, okay, so for residential rent and fees. Now we have mortgages, and the only cards you can use for mortgages are MasterCard, Discover, and Visa Debit, okay? So you cannot anymore use Visa credit cards. I believe that changed about a year or two ago, and obviously you can't use Amex, okay? So MasterCard or Discover, you don't really want to use a debit card, but you can use Visa Debit anyway. Now we have commercial rent, and that's just no Amex. All other cards are okay. And now we have taxes and government fees, and all cards are okay for taxes and government fees, which is cool. And well, like we just said, I paid my taxes using this service just a couple of days ago. It was very smooth, it went very well. They've already sent out the check. They give you a little notification when it gets sent. So yeah, if you guys have a tax bill, I would encourage you to check out this service, see if it's right for you. Now lastly, we have utilities, and this is just split into electricity, gas, and water, and that's all cards are okay. And then we have telecoms and internet, and that's just no Amex, okay. So guys, that is a big rundown of all the different types of cards that you're allowed to use for what If you missed some part of that, feel free to just go back and pause the video and you can actually just look at the sheet and see what card can be used for what. If you do like the sound of Plastiq, you can use our link to sign up. It is free to sign up, but then obviously there is a 2.5% fee, although sometimes lower fees with special promotions, and you can kind of work out and weigh it up whether it's right for you. Especially if you have a sign up bonus, it can really make sense to do it that way. We'll also put in the description some of our favorite travel credit cards that you guys can check out. So if you are working towards a sign up bonus on a new credit card, you can consider using Plastiq as well for that. All right, guys, please subscribe if you're new, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.